All right, so I again get asked a lot of questions, or end up in a lot of conversations, I should say, right? And one of the ones I end up in is really about like how to make relationships work. And again, this is totally a disclaimer. Like I'm not perfect, and my relationships aren't perfect. But when it comes to romantic relationships, um, it's just some stuff over time that I've seen or been through, that I kind of just want to talk about. Okay, so as a guy, right, there's we have a lot of expectations that are placed on us by women, and whether right or wrong, it's up to us to live up to those expectations. Okay, women want people who, or women want men who can protect, provide, lead, and whatever that looks like for you, in those categories, do the best that you can. Right? I'm a proponent of doing the best that I can in situations. Now, I'm not a boisterous, loud type of leader, more or less so by example, but women still want you to be able to make decisions when it's necessary, and they want you to be able to, lead the family, carry out um, what the goals and aspirations for the family are. And if you are successful in doing so, then you get their love and admiration. Now, whether that's right or wrong, that is solely up to you to decide. I'm not sitting here telling you that, oh, if you don't lead, they're not going to care. That may not be the case. But what they're looking for and what they've been talking about over the years since, at least the last 5 to 6 years, are men being able to and lead and guide them, protect, make them feel safe, and the families as well. Now, when you break it down, a lot of dudes come on here and come on the internet, period, and get to bashing women. What part of the game is that? But it also goes for women too. Like, why are we bashing each other? We all need each other in this space. And again, I sit here and say this wholeheartedly with my chest. Like I said before, the only culture that really, really does it is the African American culture. There's plenty of podcasts out here about relationships, and there's panels and all this other stuff. And sometimes they say good stuff. I'm not going to sit here and say they don't. But for the most part, like, relationships are really simple. It is like a 50-50 give and take type of partnership. It has to be a partnership. You have to work together. If you're not working together, you're working against each other, and that's totally divisive. It's not helping anybody in the situation. Now, also in relationships, people want to feel like they're leveling up, that they're moving up, that they're doing different things. Okay, and if you're not moving up, people start to feel some type of way. People start to get stagnant. People start to feelings start to change. They might have been into you in the beginning because you were ambitious, and somewhere along the line you got comfortable, you got lazy, and ultimately they don't want to deal with you anymore. And although you may feel like, okay, yeah, I'm just working and moving along and doing my thing, but for them, they want to see some more progress. And you judge your success on what you do by yourself, but when you're in a relationship with somebody, like, they want to see you progressing just as much as them. And when you're not, again, like I said, it may sometimes, turn them off. You may not get as much sex as you used to. You may not get as much affection as you used to, because they simply have, shut their feelings off. And again, when they shut their feelings off for you, it could lead to them having feelings for somebody else. And then you got to go through that whole cheating thing. And, like I said before, that's unnecessary. It shouldn't happen. But listen, in relationships, it does happen. Now, whether you are able to forgive that person, and if that's really your person, if that's really the person that completes you, are you able to forgive and forget? That remains to be seen. You could forgive, but you're never going to forget. You're never really going to trust them the same. And that's something that you're going to have to deal with if you decide to stick it out with that person, right? If that's really the person that you desire to be with for the rest of your days. But again, this is more so about making relationships work. You have to put in the work on both sides. It has to be You doing 100% of the work and the other person as well. It can't be one person doing 50% and the other person doing 100. You're not going to ever meet them where they are. They always going to feel like they got to pull you along. Okay. Honesty. Be honest. Communicate. Talk about things. If you can't handle whatever you supposed to be doing, say something. If you struggling with something, talk about it. I think a lot of times the communication is also where it gets foggy because people don't talk about stuff. They just go through things by themselves, or they just drift off, or they walk around being miserable, when you could just tell the person, listen, I'm not feeling what you're doing right now. You're not doing your part. You're not holding down your end of the bargain. And it's up to that person to either fix it or go by the wayside. And if you decide to go by the wayside, then more power to you. Peace and love. Is no hard feelings, but this just ain't the relationship for you. And ultimately, again, fellas, because I'm talking to guys at this point, that's what women are looking for. They want somebody that's going to protect, provide, lead, make them feel safe, give them that confidence. A lot of women are looking for that. Looking for that man to give them that confidence in themselves that sometimes they don't have, or has been shattered by some other man. Yes, you may have to repair a heart or two in the situation. But again, that's part of being in love. It's part of being in relationships. Sometimes you have to heal that person. Not saying that it's totally your responsibility, because they need to heal themselves. But sometimes you have to be there for that person extra. They may need that confidence boost. They put on that outfit, you got to be like, okay, shorty, I see you. Or you looking good. Whatever compliments, pay them up. Play it up, make her head swell, gaslight her to the death. All that stuff comes into play and is important in relationships, right? It's not all about just leveling up, as they say, or it's cool to want to be on your hustle and be on your grind, but it's also important to be there for that person, love that person, communicate with that person, be honest and open with that person, and just give them everything that you have, right? And I think like that's some of that stuff gets lost. But listen, I'm being honest when I say this, like, no, but with all of that going on, right? Nobody wants to have to feel like they're dragging somebody along. So get on your game. If you ain't, let's put this in total perspective. Okay, so one person is down on their luck right now, and maybe they not, working at the moment, right? But you're able to, do other things, like pick up and do those other things, so your partner won't have to feel like they're doing every single thing. Okay. For example, like if you're not working and you have kids, and let's say the kids require that they have activities going on. If that person is working all day, in my opinion, right, it's your responsibility as the person who's not working to make sure the kids get to school on time, make sure the kids get picked up, make sure they get to practices and whatever else they may have going on. Give your partner that space to they've been working all day, they've been on their feet, they've been 8 hours slaving. Make sure they have the comforts when they come home, right? And I may get bashed in the comments for this or whatever, if it turns into a short or whatever, and that's cool. But I'm just saying, be able to step up in the places and areas that partner who's doing a lot can't, right? Be able to step up and help out and do those things. It's nothing worse for a lady or person, period, than a piss poor person who isn't doing anything. Okay. And if you sit around and just be piss poor about situations, you're going to find yourself by yourself. You're going to get left. Okay. Listen, that's just the real. Like, relationships are literally just about working together. It's give and take. If you give, then be able to take. Don't just always be taking, but be able to give something as well. And that's just real. Like, be able to help out. A lot of people, in this world, they're looking to get a leg up. They're looking to get somewhere, looking to get ahead. They need a partner that's going to hustle with them, work hard, do your thing with them. but they want to do it together, right? Help your partner start a business. Help you invest in your partner if you can. Give your partner that respect. Give your partner admiration. Just give of yourself. Help your partner become what you can see, right? You can see, if you see a lot for them, pour into them, and vice versa. It should be a lot of pouring going on, but make sure your cups are full. Okay, you can't pour from an empty cup, and your partner should understand that. You should understand that before y'all go pouring into each other. Like, pour from a full cup. But I'm always, again, a huge advocate for couples being in love and doing it the correct way. And that's just how I feel. Like, I was raised up on love and the whole institution of, marriage and whatever you want to call it, relationships, and seeing, some relationships work, some not. You just understand that that's the way it goes sometimes. But do your best to make the relationship work. If it doesn't and it ends, just know that there's a lesson behind it. Figure out what that lesson is for you and apply it to, maybe your next relationship or what have you. Like, sometimes it takes more than one to get it right. And you live and you learn, and hopefully you get it right and you find that person that can give you what you give out. So if you give out love and admiration and respect and loyalty and all that, then find somebody who does that for you too, right? You deserve that as a person. We all deserve people who are going to love us unconditionally, give us that respect, give us that loyalty. And that's what you should be looking for. And then when you find it, like, y'all talk about what y'all want to do in life, what you see 5 years, 10 years, 20, etc. And if it matches up, then y'all, start your journey. If they want to just be there to support you and help you, then boom, allow them to do so and go from there. You know what I mean? It's really simple. I think we take relationships and make them complicated, but we don't have to complicate them. We can definitely, like I said, be in the moment, be in the relationship, have fun with it. Don't make it too overly complex, but be looking for somebody who completes you as well as you complete that other person. But listen, I've said enough. I didn't really want to talk about relationships, but like I said, I get into these conversations a lot. I give a lot of, I guess you could say, advice or comments about it. So I just wanted to kind of get it all out right now. If, like I said, like I always say, like, comment, subscribe. If you want to talk about it even further, just jump in the comments. We could always go back and forth, respectfully, of course. But listen, this is Mr. Brown from the I'm Not a Hater podcast, and peace and love.